Alright guys, this is my eyoyo underwater setup. I have the eyoyo camera on this base, and then I have two legs that sit in a triangle formation 2 feet off the bottom of any riverbed or any canal bed or even the Clyde. I've got a dive light connected to the camera, so I can put the dive light on to gaze extra light, and I can also set it for red flashing and red normal and blue, as well as red and blue flashing at the same time. The 7-inch screen on the eyoyo, that's how the camera's connected, using one of these connections for the poles. These are just ordinary paint poles. That one's 3 meters long in sections, and that's 2 meters long in sections. I've got 2 clamps on the bigger pole for deeper water, so that when you tie a rope to it, just put the pole over the side with the bolt going through the pole section with the 45-degree angle connection on the top. That's just a paint head for painting and decorating. It's got a bolt running through it to connect into the eyoyo, the 45-degree U-bolt, and then it fits on like so, and the bolt running through with a nut on it so it can't come off. So then it's a fixed point. It can either be horizontal, straight down, or at a 45-degree angle, left or right. But that's how I'm operating the eyoyo just now. I also use the green fishing light. Now I've got a couple of hooks that look like fish on my green light, so when it's in the water these just float next to the green light, and that helps attract bait fish, and it's just weighted. Runs off a 12-volt battery. It's 45 watts at 12 volts. I also use this flasher, so it's connected to some swivel hooks, which then can be connected to any hook setup, and then it runs on about 2 arm lengths worth of line, and then it's connected to 2 bubble floats, one clear and one yellow, and it's got another bit of line to a swivel, which then can be connected to my rod and line. It's really good for trolling. I also have the Dipsy Diver. That's another good trolling device. And I've also got the swivel onto some split rinks and hook setups for getting into the canal or the Clyde, and they run off batteries, so you can connect one line to your line and the other line to your hook or your spinner, connect it up, and it will start flashing. It runs off 3 watch batteries. So put it in, and that's it flashing. Connect the other end to your hook, and that will also sit trolling. Just let it go through the water as you're trolling, and it will flash at the depth you set it at, and the eyoyo camera will also pick it up nice and clear from the tripod. You could actually just have it sitting in front of the camera and it'll still attract fish with a flashing light. It comes in two colours, both blue and green. It's just the same setup. It runs off of 3 watch batteries. So there's a rubber grommet, it's round the threaded part, and then it's got a spring for your positive and negative. So put the battery like so on the wee electronic board, screw it up so it's nice and tight so that no water can get into it, and then it'll just start flashing. And that's the green one. So you just attach your lure and your line to one end, and then you can troll through the water that way, or you can just have it hanging. The flashing light will attract fish, both in the Clyde canals or in a river setup. The 3 watch batteries last about an hour. So if you go and stock up on some watch batteries, you can have it run all night long on about 10 batteries. It's got a wee rubber seal round the end to stop any water getting into it. Just make sure it's nice and tight so that no water can get into it, and just weight it down. My other setup is on a float, so it's on about 3 feet of line, and then I've got my spinner. Another good way of trolling just off the surface, about 3 feet, both in the canal and in the Clyde. I also have another bait setup where I'm just using a float at the top that I can attach to, and it's then weighted, and then it's on a grub. So that will sit about 2 feet under the surface. Another trolling rig setup, and that's on the worm with a dead head weight on it. That's just 2 of my setups for spinning in the canal. Again, using the painting pole with the connections, 2 U-clamps, just a rope connection, and then I can just put this over my boat back end or at the bow and just have it hang 3 meters under the water, with the swivel head attached to the end of it with the eyoyo, so it's fixed in position, and with the dive light as well, gives you a little bit more light if the water's dark or if the water's murky or you're fishing at night. It just gives that extra bit of light. If you use the IR setting on the eyoyo, what I have found is that microplankton, either in the Clyde or in a river or in a canal, the microplankton start blocking the lens, so you can't see a good couple of feet from the camera. So if you're fishing, don't use the infrared light unless it's dark, but use the white light, because the white light doesn't attract the microplankton, but the infrared light ring will attract the microplankton, and the microplankton will end up going in front of the camera lens and you won't be able to see much bar microplankton. And if there are fish in the shot, it's going to damage the shot of the fish with the infrared on, because the infrared attracts microplankton, and the microplankton then block out the screen, and all you see is little pink dots and little krill floating about the screen. So if there's a pike maybe 2 feet or 6 feet away, it'll be difficult to see, so just use the white light only and your shot should be clear, along with the dive light. And again, that's just a pizza tray with 2 metal legs with 2 nuts and bolts, with a rope going through it that you just attach your line to from your bow or your anchor line, and then just drop it down till you get to the bottom, and then it'll sit 2 foot off the bottom, and put your green light on your bow and put the eyoyo on the back of on the stern of your boat. So you then get your boat length between your green light and your camera. And the eyoyo has 15 meters worth of cable. So that's what, 50 feet or 49 feet, something like that, for 15 feet of line. Now that's my fishing eyoyo setup. That's what I'm currently using with my fishing rod. So hopefully this has been helpful for you guys, and it helps boost my channel. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll speak to you again soon. Cheers for now, guys.